So, back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But sometimes I sit and wish I was a kid. Everybody say, I remember way back when. All right, that's a shout out to Ahmad. Now, this song goes back to children who grow up poor, okay? When their parents might not have the money. They're not poor in nature, they're not poor in spirit, but they might not have the money. And when they don't have the money, what happens is you become creative. I remember my mother didn't have enough money for my brothers to get a haircut, and the school year started. So what did? They picked their hair out and they took a piece of the paper and they shaped their hair in a circle, perfect circle. So when they got to school, they looked like they got a fresh cut. All they had to do is on the edges is basically take a little razor and shape it up around the edges. You see, poor children who don't have money, what do? They become creative. We are all losing our creative nature when we are constantly on the phone. We're constantly doing things that are not going to allow that to happen. Going out in nature, as you see me right now, okay? One of my favorite trees, look at this tree. You can sit in this tree, okay? One of the trees that I used to like to climb in, even now, people look at me like I'm crazy when I climb the tree now. But in all honesty, the trees are our friend. We're supposed to be grounded. We're supposed to be touching these trees. What is going on? Are we just deciding to just forget nature? Nature is beautiful. Nature, there's a tree in South Carolina, the angel tree. Now, nobody really speaks about it. You're really not supposed to be climbing the tree because it's aging now. And people, the guards tell you not to climb on the tree anymore. But those are the trees that I climbed on as a kid, When you don't have the phone, let's say this is the summertime, the parents say, okay, you know what? We're going to give you a day without the phone. The children might look at it as punishment, but you set them outside to play. We used to go outside and play, and of course, when you came inside, your mother said, you smell like outside. Go get a shower. And of course, she didn't have to tell me that because, of course, I was running to the bathroom, so I was always fighting over the bathroom is what her issue probably was with us. But when you're outside and they're playing, you're playing hopscotch, you're playing double dutch or double orange, all of these different games that I was introduced to. I even introduced it to some children who I used to live in a neighborhood with, and they loved those games. But what are we doing right now? We have to try to incorporate more of those things back into our playtime. Our children, you can go out and play with your children. Let me tell you, my mother used to race us, dance with us, jump rope with us. My grandmother, I told you what happened with her. My grandmother moved into the neighborhood. Before she moved in, she used to come and visit. And the problem with that was she would have us turning and she'd be jumping all the time, double dutch, So, we have to look at what it is that we're doing. Are we creating an atmosphere for our children to just be around technology? Or are we creating an atmosphere where our children feel comfortable enough to come to us and talk to us? Because part of the playing with them in these little games or what have you is getting to know who your child actually is. A lot of us have been removed. And another thing too is we are in a society where we're doing more work outside of the home than inside the home, and it's probably because that's how we make ends meet. But the government hopefully listens in or tunes into some of this and realizes that we need the prices to go down on certain things. We need certain things to become more of an average so that we can really hone in and be able to work with our families, be around our families. When I'm in Italy, they shut down the city for a certain period of time and people come together and sit at the table, eat, talk. Come on. Our society is going to have to change, and we got to figure out a way in which this happens. United Nations, come on, everybody has to come on board and try to figure out how we're going to make changes because our families need our help. Our families are breaking down in separation. We need them to come together. How do we do this? Let's get our minds together. And the Go Moon, you have a wonderful one.